Good morning. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. I would like to start this video off by saying that I fully support the striking and protesting efforts of the Lyft and Uber drivers and gig workers from state to state, from city to city. I fully support you all 100% for change. And I'm hoping for change, just as you are. Now, today I want to talk to you all about who Rideshare Realtalk is. I want to share a little bit about myself with you all, with my subscribers, the people that enjoy watching my content, and to future subscribers. Okay, well, my name is Leroy. I was born in a small town of Virginia called Petersburg. Okay, I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. I had a grandfather and an aunt. Okay, so basically I was raised by 3 women and a man. Okay. I grew up at a time in Petersburg, but Petersburg was a small town, but it was a really good place to be at. It was a couple of big factories and manufacturers that were there that people held some decent jobs at. Petersburg had a lot of nightlife in that time when I was a young man. My mother left my father when I was 7 years old. So my mother and grandmother pulled together, and my aunt, to make us a big family, because on my mother's side of the family, we are a very small family. So that's my mother, her sister, and my aunt, and my granddaddy. Then there was three children. That was me. My mother had 2 children, and my aunt had 1 son at that time. So it was 3 of us. Okay, I was the oldest. All right. Growing up in the 70s and 80s in Petersburg was a great learning experience. As I developed, we lived in several places around Petersburg, like several different places, parts of Petersburg, what little small parts of the town that there was, we lived in different places. Along those times of living in those different places, I made friends in all of those places. Most of the people in Petersburg in my era either wanted to be athletes, musicians, and DJs and things of that nature. We had some wonderful athletes and some wonderful musicians and DJs and stuff in my era coming up. So, my mother and grandmother, they did the best to provide for us, and my aunt. They did the best to provide for us the best they could. So in my teenage years, as a little man, I started playing. As a little guy, I'd say around about 9, I started playing recreation football. Okay, rec ball. We used to go to, in Petersburg, they used to have so many programs for the children. I mean, all over the place. Parks and Recreation was one of the biggest programs in the city of Petersburg. I mean, they provided a lot of programs and activities, lunch on a daily basis in the summertime. We had a rec center in the middle of Petersburg, which was the 3rd ward, that was called the Harding Street Recreation. We learned a lot of sports and activities there at that recreation center. You know, and the feeling of that time, man, is something I miss. You know what I mean? I can't never get that back. You know. But in Petersburg, it was a lot of fighters. Okay? So you had to learn how to fight. And what better way to learn how to fight than to get your ass beaten? To fight and get beat up and go back and fight again until you build up a craftsmanship that you can really put it on somebody. You know what I'm saying? And that was the way of Petersburg when I was growing up. You know, I got some great memories. I got friends all over Petersburg. Well, those that still living from my era, those that still living, and that I went to high school, middle school, and elementary, high school, elementary, middle school, and high school went together. Yes. So playing the recreation football and things like baseball and basketball, those turned me into an athlete. Okay. I also wanted to be a DJ. Okay. So football was what I was really, really good at. Because I was a stockier build kid. You know, I was muscular built. Like, it came from my father's side of the family. More stocky. So I was a lot stronger than a lot of the kids in my neighborhood and stuff. So football was my calling. I did play basketball in the 8th grade, but I didn't like sitting on the bench. There was a lot of other ball players that was a little bit more better than I was. The coach thought, you know what I'm saying? So that was my last year playing basketball. So I started playing junior varsity football at Petersburg High School, and that led to my journey as a football player with the Petersburg High School football team. We had some wonderful coaches. In my time, the coaches were like father figures. And I remember a lot of them. There were some good guys, you know. And my journey as a young man, so being raised in a home with there's not a lot of income coming in, it leads you to find things to get into. In my era, crack was everywhere. And, you know, I was a little fella that was out there and was just interested in getting more money and wearing better clothes and things of that nature. Now, my mother and my grandmother provided what they could with their job and providing a roof over our head and making sure that we ate and things of that nature. They provided very well for us. But, you know, I was come up in an era where all of these expensive tennis shoes had started coming out. Bo Jacksons and Charles Barkley's and Penny Hardaways and Jordan and you know, Reebok pumps with the basketball on the tongue. Yeah, I come up in an era where all that stuff was just hitting the mainstream. Well, those shoes were $150 and $200 a pair back then. A lot of kids at our school that had mothers and fathers, their parents could get them those things. They lived in good areas and stuff, so I envied a lot of that. And I had a friend that was very poor. Was wasn't his family. He was raised by his father. He wasn't as well off as I was, and as my mother and grandma, you know. And me and him used to hang together, and I used to spend a lot of time with him. We used to spend a lot of time together. And he used to always tell me, he's like, man, I want a house like yours. I want to be able to, you know, take showers and stuff like I want to. And, you know, I want to be able to bring girls and stuff to my house as well, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, me and him would do little odd jobs around the city. There was people that would give us work on the weekends, and we would go make a couple dollars and to put in our pockets and stuff like that. But then we'll go back out there and shoot dice and pitch nickels to the line and mess that little change up and get back on the ground again, you know. Then back then in our high schools and stuff, we used to have dances. And we used to have a lot of nice DJs and stuff that came to our dances. And you had to pay to get in those dances, you know. You wanted to wear nice clothes. So I started selling crack cocaine. And that was the beginning of a long road. It's fun until you get in trouble. So it lasted for quite a few years. Because I started selling crack when I was 13 years old. And I had a pretty good run there as a young man. I was able to buy any shoes there in the store, any clothes that was there in the store. Could go to any place I wanted to go, you know, gamble when I wanted to, do all types of things, you know what I mean? But then I caught a crack, I got knocked off, I got caught in a conspiracy charge. I got caught. My first charge was conspiracy. Because I gave someone that owed me some money, an older guy. I changed the $100 bill for him in the commission of a drug sale. The police was recording the whole thing, and because I changed that $100 bill for him, because he owed me $50, they gave me conspiracy because I aided in the sale of a drug. So they gave me conspiracy. Well, that led to all of the reckless, young, dumb things that I was doing to catch up with me. I had a hotel key in my pocket. I had a guy that used to do drugs, was older, had got me a hotel room, and I used to pay it every week. Just being mischievous, just to have somewhere to take girls to, because I couldn't take them home, and just being grown. You know what I'm saying? Just doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. So I had a large amount of crack that I kept hid there. No one knew I had that there, but the older guy that used to help me sell my drugs in the streets. So when he got caught that day, when I caught the conspiracy charge, he told the police where I had a room at. So my mother came and got me out from jail. I was 15 years old. They got me go. But I had a charge. And I went home. My mother cussed me out. Not even 25 minutes later, they came back to get me again, and they charged me with 120 possession with the intent to distribute crack cocaine, because I was so clumsy. I had paraphernalia laying around, bags and razor blades. And I had 125 grams of crack hid there, and they found it. At that time, 125 grams of crack was what we used to call a big 8. That was 4.5 ounces of crack cocaine. So, yeah, that started my journey. Yeah, young man doing dumb things that caught up with me. That started my learning process. Although I still didn't understand a lot what was going on, I knew that I was in trouble. I didn't take it serious, you know. So I wound up getting tried as an adult, and they gave me a 20-year sentence. See, crack in my era was an epidemic in my city, and the judges in that era, that was at the police. I mean, that was at the Petersburg court system was very hard. Commonwealth attorney and judge at that time was very hard, and they were trying to throw the book at people because they was trying to get the crack off the street. You know what I'm saying? Out the street. So a young man like myself, they didn't care. They didn't care that I had that I was a major football player with Petersburg High School football team. They didn't care any of that. They didn't care nothing about my future. They didn't have these programs like the boot camps and all that stuff back then. At the same time I got in trouble, Allen Iverson had got in trouble for for doing the fighting or whatever he was doing to Bull. Now they gave him 5 years. Okay, but he had people that poured for him. They got him out of jail, and he went to Georgetown. Later became a superstar. Little town that I come from, yeah, I get it. He was from Virginia Beach. I get it. A little bit bigger than Petersburg in Virginia. But, you know, he had a lot of people pulling for him. You know what I'm saying? He was more of a bigger star because he played more sports. So he was more of a bigger star, high school star than I was, you know. I was a very good ball player, just not on the national level. You know what I mean? So there, I had to do some years, okay? And I learned a lot in the prison system. Prison is a teaching moment. Yeah, I was scared when I got in jail, when I went to jail. But you learn a lot in the jail that prepares you for prison. So by the time I got to prison, I had knew the do's and the don'ts. So yeah, I was able to do my time. I learned a lot from the older guys that was in the prison. A lot. I met a lot of good guys in prison. And yeah, I was determined to come out and go to college and play football. That was my number one goal. I said, I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna work out and get all the education and things I need while I'm here. I had a lot of guys that was rooting for me, you know what I'm saying? I'm running every day, twice a day, lifting twice a day, and yeah. Well, I was able to, as I did get released, and I was able to come home and follow my dream of being a football player. And it wasn't easy, but I was able to follow my dream as a football player. And then I ventured off into more football and more football and more football. That's under the bridge now. I really don't even want to talk about that. But that was my journey off into the sports. Off into adulthood. And I had this keen spirit of always helping people. And I would give people the shirt off my back. And that would lead me to attract all of the wrong kinds of people. And I was always trying to help and fix somebody and invite people in my space that weren't no good. And I always ended up with the short end of the stick. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. A lot. And I have a whole lot of knowledge from those mistakes that I can share with the world. And I am. Because I done been through it all. I done did it all. You know what I'm saying? And sometime here later, I'm going to share with the world. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge that I learned in my journey. I know a lot. I've been through a lot. All because I put myself through it. Now, all of the mistakes that I made, it took me a long time to understand that mistakes they have to be accepted in order to move forward. I still make mistakes now, but I own up to everything that I do 100% due to the learnings from my past mistakes. I'm making different kinds of mistakes now. But I'm human, and humans make mistakes. You learn from them and you move on, right? I just wanted to open up to you all and talk to you all today more about who I was. It's a lot more to me. I've done a lot in my life. I've had businesses. I've never been married before. As things progress in 2023, I'm going to share a little bit more about myself. I just wanted to fulfill my promise that I made a couple of weeks back when I said I was going to share who Rideshare Realtalk was with you all. I'm going to get back to driving. I just wanted to give you all a little information about who I was. And that's more to come. You know what I mean? To all of you people that's just watching my content, or my new subscribers and future subscribers, and all of those who enjoy my content. For those who haven't subscribed, I would like to ask you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay in the loop. For all of you all that enjoy watching my content and that has subscribed to my channel, I would like to tell you thank you. And my goal here is to build a family, to help one another, to educate those new and future Lyft drivers so that they can be better prepared than I was when I entered this platform as a driver. I have a lot more to come. Until my next video, let's get this bread, baby.